Welcome to the Scottsdale Vibes podcast. I'm your host, Alicia Haygood. This week's episode is so special. It's our 100th episode of the Scottsdale Vibes podcast. And that's only possible because of you, the listener, tuning in each and every week. In just this short time, we've grown in the top 10% of all podcasts in the world, the 15% most downloaded podcasts on Spotify, and the go-to podcast for all things Scottsdale. Thank you for making this possible and making my dreams come true. And we're not going anywhere. We'll continue to grow on social media, YouTube, and of course, bringing you new and exciting episodes each and every week. So many of the people that I have featured are recommended to me by fellow listeners. So if you know someone that wants to be on the podcast or you think should be featured, let me know. This podcast is for you. So I'd love to meet them and be introduced as well. To showcase all the great things that we've done for the first 100 episodes, we're going to hear from some of our past guests on what their favorite Scottsdale vibes are. But let's start with a couple of our favorite sponsors. I'm going to take a short break and we'll be back with Jeremy Mueller of State Farm Insurance and Dr. Rob DeVito of Arizona Center for Laser Dentistry. When it comes to family-friendly dentistry, there's only one place in Scottsdale, and that's Arizona Center for Laser Dentistry. Teeth cleaning, innovative, pain-free laser dentistry, teeth whitening, root canals, and really any dental need you may have, Dr. Rob and his staff at Arizona Center for Laser Dentistry can handle it all. They're more than just a dentist, they really are family. We've been going there for over 3 years, and my family loves them. When your kids get excited to go to the dentist, you know you've got a good one. Dr. Rob DeVito is the only dentist in town that can handle it all. Give him a call at 480-990-1905. You can find him on the web at drdevito.com. And don't forget to tell him you heard him on the podcast. We are sitting here with two of our amazing sponsors, Jeremy Mueller from State Farm Insurance and Dr. Rob DeVito from Arizona Center for Laser Dentistry. Guys, I first of all want to thank you so much. You have been with me since before the beginning, really, of the Scottsdale Vibes podcast. You have been a member of this community since you were raised here. And having that knowledge and that experience of living in Scottsdale just makes this podcast whole to me. So I want to talk to you guys about what you've seen in Scottsdale change and what you are excited about with the Scottsdale Vibes podcast. So Dr. Rob, I'll start with you first. We just got back from spring break. I hear, first of all, yours was filled with soccer tournaments.
Oh, 100%. And it was good weather, too, I might add.
Nice.
Right? I mean,
we had the rain this week, so funny enough. But how was everything going? And tell me what you are looking forward to with Scottsdale coming up.
Oh, everything's fantastic. Personal-wise, business-wise has been great. Spring break was awesome because, yay, all the kids were out of school.
You had no traffic here because you were stuck here.
Yeah, absolutely. And we spent most of our time at the office getting things done. And then in the weekend hours, we were playing soccer the whole time. So we had a bunch of fun. But as far as Scottsdale's concerned, my gosh, just from growing up here, the growth. I mean, I remember when things were a chore to drive to.
Yeah.
I remember when the freeways weren't there, when you didn't have to go really past north of Bell to find any type of civilization. So the leaps and bounds of things that are getting gobbled up, businesses and residentials, and my gosh, how about all of the condos and the apartments that have been going up?
I was about to say, now it's the opposite. Now we're like desperate for land to build on and find somewhere to grow and stuff like that.
When I was growing up, it was kind of like that urban squall. People would go to downtown Phoenix to live, and then they don't want to do that anymore. They want to come out. They want to get into the suburbs. They want their quiet. It's just amazing that we're able to have parking spots still around here from all the people that come in from out of town.
Yeah.
That is true.
But, all the construction that's happening, I'm going to do a shout out to Jeremy and State Farm for their windshield protection help because there's a lot of construction out there and there's a lot of rocks out there, let me tell you.
And there's a lot going on construction around your office, Jeremy, right now.
It's fun. And I love it. No,
he says with a straight face and
everyone
no smile.
north of Frank Lloyd Wright knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That Pinnacle Peak and Pima with what they're doing with the zoning and the flood and everything, it's a mess.
Yeah.
But that said, that's, the progress, right? Like we've got a lot of growth going on and super excited for stuff coming up. It'll be interesting, like Rob said, business-wise, everything with all this growth, there's a lot of opportunity there. I am extremely interested in the Cavazon development and
Yeah.
then the new Optima 101 and Scottsdale Road. So it'll be interesting to see those two developments kind of take our next. I mean, I've heard things like that's going to be our next
Big area.
Kierland type, very
Yeah.
high income area. So it'll be interesting.
I've toured the Cavazon Hilton. It's gorgeous.
I did too.
It was really nice.
No,
yeah.
the GM over there was great. He took me upstairs and saw the rooms up there, and
Yeah.
I felt like I was out of town.
Well, Jeremy, let's talk to both y'all about this past. It's been almost 2 years, 100 episodes.
Congratulations.
Thank
Yeah,
you, and thank you guys
congratulations.
too. I've only missed 2 episodes because I had laryngitis. Kind of hard to do a podcast with no voice, but I'm very dedicated to the city because we really want to showcase all the great people, places, and events that's going on. So, over the past couple of years, what are some of your favorite events or people or kind of that we've covered? Rob, I'll start with you.
I would say from a family standpoint, the Jazzercise episode was
That's
really
right.
good just
Yeah.
because of my mother and also my wife that go to that center, believe it or
know.
not, which is fantastic. And heck, just recently the tequila episode.
Gosh, that
I
was
mean,
fun.
just to have it local,
Here's
please.
the thing: we need to go to Jazzercise and then go drink tequila. So
Yeah.
they just work together that way. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I love that. That's what Scottsdale is. It's a little bit of everything. We're starting their own, their tequila company. I'm calling it Scottsdale Tequila because I don't know any other distributor here in town that's going to have it. And then Jazzercise is a local lady that owns that too. And that's just what this podcast is here to encompass. And that's what this city to me is like focused on, is just bringing everyone together to rise up.
Well, I would also say, I mean, how diverse is this podcast? You have the Scottsdale City Council
Mm-hmm.
on as well, just to have a Q&A with them. And then we're talking about youth sports. And
Yeah.
then from youth sports, we go to events as the Phoenix Open and the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It's amazing because Scottsdale is that diverse with its people and with its culture that we can have all of that meshed into one.
It's crazy. And then, of course, the Barrett Jackson Car Show is here. Craig Jackson, they is always a supporter and comes on every year to talk about it. They had their largest gross income in Scottsdale ever this year because
This year? Wow.
because they had so many non-reserve prices on their cars and stuff like that, which is great because so much of what they do goes back to local charities here as well.
Right,
And
yeah.
it just starts here. So I mean, just to see how these events have grown in Scottsdale over the years.
Yeah, I think that started in South Scottsdale and
Yeah.
then moved up toward North Scottsdale.
Yeah.
And
Well,
the
and then
location.
Glendale was going to grab it, and thank God we worked that out.
Nope, it's ours.
Yeah.
Jeremy, what about you? What have been some of your favorite things we've covered over the past couple of years?
I was going to say, having everyone from the Thunderbirds to the guys at Barrett Jackson to City of Scottsdale Police Department. I mean, that's what's great about this podcast is you get some interesting perspectives. Plus, I get to spend time with you guys.
Aw, I love that. I know. It's the only time we get Jeremy out of his office.
Yeah.
To come in.
Well, and credit to myself because I see a good thing and I see Scottsdale vibes and I'm going to run with it.
I love that. Thank you. Thank you. Well, one of my favorite things I do with every guest that I come on, although y'all are so much a part of this podcast, not a guest anymore, is I ask them what their favorite Scottsdale vibe is because like you were just saying, Dr. Rob, the vibe here in Scottsdale is so diverse. We all have a different passion and purpose for being here. So, Jeremy, what is your favorite Scottsdale vibe?
I had one of these Sundays where I was working in the morning and then I decided to do a hike around Gateway Trail, which, people would fly in to go to that trail. It's it's great.
Beautiful.
And then went over to the Vig for a couple of sodas after. So that is my Scottsdale vibe.
I love it.
And that's a Sunday afternoon. And it was just it was like, I felt like I was out of town, but I was here.
That's great. And it's right around the corner.
Right
That's
around
just
the corner.
Perfect.
Yep.
What about you, Dr. Rob? What's your favorite Scottsdale vibe?
I'm not going to say necessarily the hiking thing because I do like Brown's Trail. I like that as the vibe, but I like all the concerts that happen.
You're a big concert goer
Yeah,
here.
I love live music. I think it's fantastic, and we get a lot of live music around
We
here,
do.
Yeah.
from small
Yeah.
venue to big venue.
Yeah, you're right.
Going, kid friendly to adults only. Going old school to definitely new stuff. We'll put it that way. I love the music scene.
I love that. Well, I too, my favorite Scottsdale vibe probably has to be the people here. Like everybody I meet is so different and brings such a different perspective to the table that it really has just opened my eyes up to see more and open doors up to opportunities I probably would have missed without it. So, and
Love
of
it.
course, the listener is my favorite.
I got one more. How about the food?
Oh my gosh, we
about
are
the
the new like culinary
We are.
destination. Like
And
it's
that's the
it's
top
crazy.
answer I get from most guests is like the food scene here is out of control, and you can go and have a different place and never repeat throughout the year. Yeah.
Totally. I mean, it used to be we'd go to Las Vegas for something.
That's true.
Now it's
they're here.
It's here.
Yeah.
The
And
resort here. It's
is
like same
here.
thing, like the resort life. We have the gambling, we have the resorts here. I mean, who needs Vegas?
Yeah, that's a great point, Rob.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys always for being supporters of the Scottsdale Vibes podcast. And
Absolutely.
we look forward to tuning in with you each month. And in the meantime, don't forget to check your insurance rates because everything is changing as you change and you move or you need new windshields, like Dr. Rob said. Of course, there's only one person, and that is Jeremy Mueller of State Farm Insurance. He is a local, born and bred Scottsdalian. Is that a word, Scottsdalian?
It is now.
We're
It
going
is
to
now.
use it.
Yeah.
So if anyone knows what your needs are, it is definitely him. And same with Dr. Rob DeVito. We love going to Dr. Rob. My kids love it. They actually walk themselves back to the chair at this point. So
Wow.
they really do. And it really is a family atmosphere. So go check out Dr. Rob DeVito for all your special needs, from a regular teeth cleaning to anything in between. He has you covered. So thank you guys. When we come back, we'll have some more updates for you.
Cheers.
When it comes to protecting you, your family, and all your assets, you need to have someone that you can trust. And that's Jeremy Mueller of State Farm Insurance. Jeremy Mueller has lived in Scottsdale his whole life. How can anyone else know your needs more than someone who's been here and seen it all? Jeremy and his team are always ranked in the top % at State Farm. He cares, he's knowledgeable, and most importantly, he's always available. Don't believe me? Give him a call at 480-515-5223 or find him at jeremymueller.com. When we think of Scottsdale, we think of the desert, luxury, perfect weather for at least 8 months out of the year, and really so much more. And when I began brainstorming for titles for this podcast, I kept thinking, what does Scottsdale represent? And that's just it. It represents so much, you can't narrow it down to one word, which is why my team and I came up with the title Scottsdale Vibes, because Scottsdale really is its own vibe. And that's when I started to wonder, what are other people's impressions of Scottsdale? What is it about the vibe that they like the most? So that's how we came to ask the question, what is your favorite Scottsdale vibe? So here's a few of our past guests' favorite vibes, starting with Tammy Fellows, publisher of the high-end magazine City Lifestyle Scottsdale, who really does know all the vibes in town. What is your favorite Scottsdale vibe?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
I know it is, right?
Yeah, Scottsdale vibe. One of the things I love, and I talked about this before, is how alive it is here. I've never seen, even in the places that I visited, such an active community. People take every advantage they can to walk, bike, run, hike, do things that keep them moving, which I love because health and wellness, not just physical, but mental is such a huge part of that. So moving your body helps your mental wellness so much. So the vibe I love is how active everybody is. And this is no different just with things coming back to life again. After COVID, people just wanted to get out there and be together. So that's definitely something that speaks to me.
I couldn't agree more. We are so lucky to have an active and successful Chamber of Commerce here in this city, one that really showcases all the great businesses in town. Because let's face it, Scottsdale loves our small businesses and we thrive on them as much as anything. And as a man who knows the majority of these owners, his vibe is one that spoke to me. Mark Stanton, president of the Scottsdale Chamber of Commerce. What is your favorite Scottsdale vibe?
Oh, Lord.
That's how everyone starts. I only can pick one. I can only pick one.
I will have to tell you that it's the pulse.
Oh, I love that.
The pulse is consistent. Yesterday I was in my office and some visitors. We're not Convention and Visitors Bureau, although they did start with the Scottsdale Chamber. But we have material, so people stop in all the time. And I had a group in there yesterday from Montana. And they came in. I've never had the pleasure of going to Montana, but they came in and they were just talking about being in downtown and Old Town and how they went up to Scottsdale Quarter and they're so excited. They were just bubbling. And they said, we don't have anything like Scottsdale in Montana.
Wow.
And it's just that energy, that's that connectivity, and that is what I love. I love the fact that there's always something new going on, whether it be the Arabian Horse Show, or we've got the Phoenix Open, you've got Barrett Jackson, and that is just the constant pulse where there is something literally for everyone.
I love that. I had Mayor Ortega on, and I love the line he used with Scottsdale smiles. And I really just felt that, and I think it really just goes to show Scottsdale is smiling right now. We're in our season, and everyone's coming to visit, and it's so good to see the city busy and happy and back to its vibrant self,
Yeah,
you know?
it feels good, doesn't it?
Yeah, it
it's
does.
Great.
I've always said that Scottsdale is a city filled with a huge, successful, and influential people. Many that may be sitting right next to you that you're not even aware of. I like how it's just quiet and unknown, but man, are they making an influence and an impactful one on the city, the state, and even the country. And one of those is Arizona Homeland Director Tim Romer, who was born and bred here in Scottsdale before coming back home after his stint at the CIA. So let's hear what Tim's favorite Scottsdale vibe is. Before we leave, my favorite question, this ought to be easy for you or difficult, I don't know. What is your favorite Scottsdale vibe?
Ooh, great question, because there's so many. I'm so proud of Scottsdale growing up here. So I love everything from the golf courses to our great restaurant scene. And being a Horizon High School guy, the Kierland area is always like my passion. So if you're telling me like the vibe, I like the Kierland area. I'm very biased because the Kierland area was dirt when I moved to the area. Greenway Road was not pushed through to Scottsdale Road. I remember as a kid watching them push Greenway through and build a golf course and then build a couple homes. And then it was like, you know, looking at it now, I'm very proud of the Kierland area. I love walking around the Kierland area, getting something to eat. Favorite bar is Rooster Tavern, just south of Acoma. I just like that type of a feel because, you know, Coach House in Old Town, one of my favorite spots. But sometimes, you know, getting in and out of Old Town can be a little difficult. So Rooster Tavern is pretty much my spot. And I love our coffee shops. I love, you know, Maverick Coffee off of Shea. And those types of places to me kind of embody everything that's great about Scottsdale, Arizona. And Scottsdale's so great because you can go from Coach House all the way up to, you know, let's say Sophia's Kitchen, great Italian restaurant up in DC Ranch. Those are kind of my vibes. I don't need anything, like I don't need to be on the rooftop of the W to be having a good time.
Well, you kind of missed that opportunity. You were busy at the CIA, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well, at least it kept me out of trouble.
Yeah, there you go.
So fortunately, you know, I've gone on to this career, but those are a few of the places. That's kind of my vibe. Even like, you know, all the way up into like DC Ranch, like Marketplace. I like going to those spots, places that are good family-friendly places
I'm
as
with
well.
you. I'm surprised we haven't run into each other. You probably named top 4 of my places that I'm always
good.
out. Yeah,
nice.
I love
You have
those
good
places.
taste.
Yes. Well, Director Romer, thank you so much for teaching us today, keeping us safe daily, hourly, you know, by the second, and your entire team. Like, you've given them credit. I know there's a big team behind you, so thank you to all. I will have information on the website. Luxury. Really one word that sums up this city of Scottsdale. The shopping, the spas, the beauty lines, and so much more. There are endless places for shopping and relaxing, and kind of go hand in hand if you ask me. Scottsdale is a city where we all strive to be our best. So it seemed like a perfect fit for Philip Manghisi of Wonderkin and Ann Steiner of My Sister's Closet to start their businesses right here in Scottsdale. Thanks for making us beautiful, you two. So let's hear what their favorite Scottsdale vibe is. What is your favorite Scottsdale vibe?
My favorite thing, honestly, is every sunset.
Which is beautiful color.
Beautiful color, and it just is like a very calming end to the day. And our store is right on Scottsdale Road, and it's right in front of, is it Camelback? Yeah. And just watching the sunset there and seeing like the black cacti in front of it, like that's my favorite part of any day.
You have a great view over there. It is right off Scottsdale. You can look at Camelback from your front window.
Yeah.
So yeah, to see the sunset right behind it and the reflection of it, you can't get better than that.
You can't.
What is your favorite Scottsdale vibe?
Oh my gosh, there's so many great vibes. I think the thing I personally like about Scottsdale is the outdoorsy aspect, that you can hop on your bike and you can ride down a greenbelt and you can see a blue heron and a bald eagle.
Isn't it crazy? There's nothing that you really can't see here in Scottsdale.
No, it's so fun. The first time I saw the bald eagles, I thought, okay, I'm seeing things. I'm in the middle of Scottsdale.
Well, Anne, thank you so much for joining me. You make this city more beautiful, really from the inside out. You start with how our home looks inside, how we look on the outside, but the way that you treat us in the community and the way that you give back shows that it's really from inside out. And I truly appreciate that. And I know that you are well known and well loved in this community. So thank you for being you, and thank you for always making us in the city such a better place. And I appreciate that.
Thank you, Alicia.
These are just 5 out of the over 100 people that I've gotten to learn from over the past 2 years. From Mayor Ortega to the Scottsdale City Council and school board candidates, authors, nutrition experts, McDowell Sonoran Preserve, the Charros, their Thunderbirds, and so many more. This city has an endless supply of the people, places, and events to feature, and I can't wait to continue to show them off to you. So as we wrap up this week's episode and celebrate 100 episodes of the Scottsdale Vibes podcast, ask yourself, what's your favorite Scottsdale vibe? And I want you to go out and enjoy it like the rest of us. Buying a home can be scary and sometimes frustrating, but all of that can go away with the right realtor. And that's where Sean Shackleton with the Shackleton Group is here for you. Sean has over 25 years experience in real estate. She's here to get you what you want and won't settle for less. She's experienced, knowledgeable, and understands this market, which these days is always changing. Take the stress out of your next home purchase by calling Sean at 480-734-7277. You can also find her at theshackletongroup.com.